This session is about our opinion in the issue, or about the issue of the companions of the Prophet. We are often asked that, why don't you accept all the companions of the Prophet? Those were the first generation. Who's better than those first generation? They saw the Prophet, they were with him, they lived with him. We wish we can see a picture of the Prophet. We wish we can see the Prophet in a dream. We can see his face. And those people, the Sahaba, the companions, they were with him. They prayed behind him. They heard his voice. They sat in his sessions, under his pulpit. They saw him reciting the Quran. They saw him guiding and teaching. So how dare we can criticize them? Those are the most perfect. We say, slow down, slow down. First of all, we acknowledge that many among the companions were very virtuous and very righteous. Definitely they are our leaders. They are our role models. We greet them, we salute them. We remember them in goodness. We acknowledge wholeheartedly that it was them who helped the Prophet. But on the other hand, we have to be objective. We cannot be subjective. We have to speak the truth. God says, speak the truth even if it is against you. God says you cannot reach piety and righteousness and felicity unless you are an honest person. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with your God. Be honest with the Islamic history. Be honest with those who are around you. So we cannot mix the khabith with the tayyib, the pure and good with the wicked and bad. We cannot mix them together and we say they are all the same. All of them are the same. We have to distinguish. And this is exactly what God did. God used to distinguish لِيَمِيزَ اللَّهُ الْخَبِيثَ مِنَ الطَّيِّبِ مَا كَانَ اللَّهُ لِيَذَرَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ عَلَى مَا هُمْ عَلَيْهِ. God would never leave the community of the believers, the companions, as they are, until He distinguishes between them, differentiates. He puts them to test to see who's good and who's bad. This is what God did. This is the sunnah, the tradition of God. And we have to learn from that. Now someone says, who are you to come and judge and say whether this companion was good or bad? I'm a Muslim. I have a brain. I have mind. I have reason. I have the history in front of me. I have the research. I've done my research. Our scholars, they spent ages and ages, decades. If a student of a graduate school, he spends 4 years or 5 years or 6 years doing his thesis, then a scholar of Islam in a seminary spends decades, not 4 years, 4 decades, not 5 years, 5 decades, half a century, 60 years, 70 years, from cradle to grave, researching and studying and cross-examining to find the truth, to produce the truth, to write a book and say, this is my work. When we examine the history of the Sahaba, we find many of them are good, super good, and some of them are not very much so. The very first example we read is that the first caliph, Abu Bakr himself, he did not find himself to be the best one. He himself says, Aqiluni, Aqiluni. Stay away from me. Remove me from this post. I am not the best one among you. I make mistakes. You come to one of the verses in the Holy Quran in Surah An-Nisa, chapter 4, and history tells us that Abu Bakr, he did not know the meaning of it. He did not know he did not know the meaning of a Quranic term, kalala. Yurathu kalala. There are various interpretations. Kalala are those who are, according to our Imams, are the siblings, the brothers and the sisters. And when he came and he reached this term, he did not know the answer of it. So we cannot say he's the most knowledgeable. He's the perfect leader. The most knowledgeable should be really the most knowledgeable, should inherit the knowledge of the Prophet. We should not leave someone who inherited the entire knowledge of the Prophet, who's the gate of the city of knowledge. He's the gate to that city. He's the entrance to that city. He's the password. He is the password to the Prophet. If you want to get to the Prophet, you have to use that password. And that password is Ali ibn Abi Talib. Go on and search for him and see the position of this man. See the nearness of this man to the Prophet. See that this man was a shadow to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The student of the Prophet since the age of 6 till the last second. The caliph who succeeds the Prophet, he has to succeed him also in knowledge and explaining the book of God. If the caliph who represents the Prophet cannot explain this book to me, he says, sorry, don't ask me to, pressure myself to understand something that I can't understand. Then I would have a problem with that. You agree with me. Definitely you agree with me on this. I hope so. Sahih al-Bukhari, Raziyatul Khamis, the tragedy of Thursday. 7 or 8 times the story is repeated in Sahih al-Bukhari alone, other than other books. The second caliph, at the time of the death of the Prophet, he said, we don't want his statement. The Prophet is saying, get me a pen and paper. I will produce for you a book that when you adhere to it, you would never be misguided throughout your life. Lan, throughout your life. The second caliph says, we don't need his book. Hasbuna kitabullah. We have to reflect on this for the sake of Islam, for the sake of the Islamic unity. Yes, we should not focus on them for negative intentions or a negative end. This is not propaganda. This is a scholarly, academic investigation into the history of Islam to see where we stand. We know both of them, they went back to God, the good ones and the bad ones.